Hi everybody. I picked up an eBay lot. This is the other side. Um, it's Wyrd Miniatures. It's their new miniature game. I mean, I got a ton of stuff. So actually, this is mostly the guy who I bought it from, his paint job. And then these guys are called striped Skulkers. And I actually tried to paint up a few of them on the bases that they came with. These are they're kind of small for these guys. Wyrd Miniatures, I think that they do all of their stuff is like 32 mil kind of based, So just for example, Infinity is 28 mil, and then GW is 28 mil. Reaper, that's 28 mil. So your Malifaux and your all that stuff is going to be way bigger. If you have terrain and stuff like that, if you have MDF buildings or things that that are marketed as 28 mil, first of all, sometimes that stuff can run a little bit small, and then these guys are going to look huge, which is fine for monsters, for dungeons. But if you're buying people, if you're using these for RPGs like I do, so I tried to do a paint job. This guy probably came out looking the best. I tried to do a paint job kind of faithful to the card art, or sort of inspired by the card art. So they have these skills, active camouflage, where they can camouflage themselves, and they look like giant chameleons. And I want to use them like that. I want to use them as giant chameleons. I found some kind of homebrew rules on D&D Beyond for that. But this paint job was a huge pain in the ass. I wouldn't wish that on people. And then this guy, I think he had the right idea. I kind of like this paint job the best out of all of them, and it's mostly his. He started on this guy. I painted on him a little bit. I like I like the pink and neon green. I think it looks cool on him. And then I based them up. So these are the bases that come with them. And then this is a 50 mil base, which I think is more appropriate. Hang on a second. I'll show you something. So here's one of my dungeon tiles. That's a 50 mil base. That's a 4x4, large critter. And then this is that's a regular size, heroic scale. This is GW. So yeah, I mean, I feel like a creature that's this big should sit on a 50 mil base, it's a large creature. So anyways, yeah, I based up a couple of them with 50 mil bases, and basically I have an army of these guys. I have a ton of these guys. It's a good way to buy minis on the cheap, is if you get an army lot on eBay. Just look up lots for Malifaux, or this is weird. This is from this lot that I bought. I love these guys. I love this sculpt. And then this is the big boss baddie, and this guy, I have plans for him. But also these guys, I love these guys. They're just the coolest critter, sculpt. Again, this is on a 50 mil base, because it's a large critter. But anyways, yeah, I was thinking that we could kind of like copy this guy's paint job, sort of, because it's going to be way easier, and I think it looks great. This is an easy paint job to copy. This is a huge pain in the ass. Like doing the stripes and like blending them in, and you know, like trying to get the stripes where in places where, you know, it's easier to just dry brush and stuff, and huge pain in the ass. So we're gonna do some guys like this. So I did some putty work last night. You can see, you know, there's some gaps on them. This is called the other side gibbering hordes, by the way, if you want to pick these up. So I fixed some gaps on them. Just did some putty work. And then first off, we're gonna prime them black. And then while they're drying, I'm gonna run to Hobby Lobby and Target and grab some stuff. I need one more color of paint. So yeah, we'll get going. Okay, through the magic of the internet, one trip to Target and Hobby Lobby later, I have some new paint. I've said this before, you know, model color is really good stuff, and they carry it at Hobby Lobby. And Hobby Lobby, they always have, you can use a 40% off coupon every single time you go. I've heard stories of people where they'll, like, they're like $5 a tube, you know. It's really good stuff though. And I've heard stories of people going like every day where they work next to a Hobby Lobby or something, and use the single, you know, the Hobby Lobby coupon, the 40% off coupon every single day, like after they got off work and like bought a new tube, until they had like the whole line. Yeah, anyways, so they come on these bases. These are, let's see if we measured these. It's not important. So they come in squads of 3, and then that's how you're supposed to base them up. But you know, like some of them don't quite, well, they do just like barely fit on there. Yeah, I think so. We'll do a squad like that, base up a whole squad like that, and then and I've got 6. So this guy is already zenithal primed. I had some clogging because of the type of paint that I was using, but we'll do better on these guys. So we'll do 2 squads of 3. And to start, I'm gonna do some more priming. I'm gonna use some of this gray, kind of neutral gray surface primer. Alright, so next up, yeah, you're not losing your mind. I'm using a different airbrush. The other one has a little bit more like PSI. It uses a little bit more pressure, and it's a little bit better for like priming. And then this one's better for like fine kind of detail. So I'm gonna start by making a ink wash. So I've got some like kind of God, what color is that? Like, you know, reddish, like kind of purple wash, or it's ink, you know, so it's transparent. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of paint to it. I've got this. This is a sample that this is from Reaper. Yeah, this is Reaper's paint, and then I've used it before, and it's actually, you know, it's good stuff. I'm not sure I would buy, you know, a whole bunch of it, but it's good stuff. So yeah, and then that's gonna make it a little bit more opaque. That's gonna make that color a little bit more opaque. And then also, I am going to mix in a little bit of, see, that makes it a little bit deeper too, kind of more of a deeper purple. There's a little more blue in there too. And then I'm also going to mix in just a little bit of matte varnish. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the inks are kind of glossy, you know? So that's gonna dull down that gloss. And since we're gonna be doing all of these all over, I'm gonna need more of it. All right, so we got our ink wash down, and then what that's going to do is kind of establish those like highlights and shadows. You know, you can just wash over like zenithal priming and get some good results. Like, you know, that's what contrast paints are basically. Or I mean, it would look even better if you did that with the contrast paints. But we're just kind of like establishing where our lights and darks are on the model, and then putting down some general tone. So now I'm gonna airbrush in some shadows, some dark spots with like a purple, kind of like a deep purple. See, this is a Vallejo Blue Violet. This stuff, you know, model color goes through the airbrush just fine. Stuff like this, the Game Color, Game Color and Fantasy Pro, this stuff, you need to thin it down a lot. All right, and now I'm gonna start mixing some greens. So right off the bat, I'm gonna be mixing straight into the purple because I want like a transition. I want to create sort of a purple green. I know that's not a thing, but we're gonna create like a gray kind of transition. Alright, so now I've got some kind of like a grayish green going on, you know, on their backs. We still got that, you know, still got the some of that shading going on, like some of the kind of purple on the bellies and the, you know, even pink in some places. Got some transitions going, and that's really gonna pop out later when I do the dry brushing. I think this guy, like, you can really see like the kind of like the pink, you know, and like purple on his tail. That's gonna look cool later. And so now I'm gonna start mixing up more of this green, like the kind of like saturated like forest green. And again, like I'm mixing it into the cup. I'm not really like cleaning, you know, in between steps. I'm just kind of like mixing paint as I go, changing tones. And that is way too thick. Yeah, you want your airbrush paint to be about the consistency of like milk, not like this. That's way too thick. So I'm just going to thin that out with some airbrush thinner. This is my favorite brand of airbrush thinner, by the way, Aztec Model Masters. So that's about right. All right, next I'm gonna do some dry brushing. I'm gonna use some of this P3 Eldritch green. It's kind of like a turquoise blue-green color. And I'm gonna use a really soft brush. Yeah, I'm gonna use one of these makeup brushes to do it. So that's what these guys look like now. I really like how their little scales like pop out and stuff. I like the contrasting colors, the like neon and the like pink, purple. Yeah, I have to dry brush their teeth too eventually. But first, I'm gonna do I'm gonna kind of define their little underbellies a little bit, like make it a little more dark purple. But I'm gonna do a glaze. I don't want it to be like opaque color. I just want it to be like, you know, define their underbellies. So I'm gonna do a glazing pass. So I'm going to use a little bit of glazing medium, well, like half and half, about, or maybe, yeah, about half and half. that's where we're at. And I think I'm gonna do a few little highlights. So I'm gonna mix some of this pink in, or the white. Let's see. That'll work. Just gonna mix a little bit of like a white in there to get like a pink. Oh, it's a little too big. Just to make some little highlights. And on the tongues, so I'm going to be careful not to, I'm going to sort of edge highlight the tongue, because I want to keep that little groove down the middle from the ink wash. As I screw it up. Okay, and now I'm just gonna dot their little eyes. And last but not least, I'm going to edge highlight their little teeth and try not to screw this up. I'd be mad if I do. So I thought I was done last night, and well, so yeah, I was like painting like in the dark, you know, and I think so. This guy's my test piece, so I decided to kind of lighten him up a little bit more with a little bit more dry brushing, and then I'm going to use some of these Citadel dry pigments, or dry brushing paints, and they're kind of interesting. Like they have these this texture that's kind of like a I don't know, like powdery, you know, kind of texture, but they're great for dry brushing because the pigments are basically dry, you know, when they not doing a very good job of it. They're like mostly kind of dry when they come out of the pot. So I'm just gonna lighten these guys up a little bit on their backs, just create some like extreme like highlights, you know, like top on the very tops of the models, just to kind of brighten up the just to give them some highlights, because I think they look a little bit dark. I want them to kind of look more like this guy. So yeah, I'm gonna go around these and lighten them up a little bit. Alright, that's the finished paint job. You know, like, I'm kind of happy with this because I feel like I took a paint job that I was kind of hating doing, and then I turned it into a paint job that I really enjoyed. these guys, you know, like these guys look cool, and they're very faithful to the card art. Like, I might even try and sell these guys on eBay, you know, as like a unit. And these are all on their original. These are on like the regulation kind of bases, and then I did like epic bases for these guys. Here's the one that I based up, my test piece that's all painted. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed doing this paint job, and I kind of hated doing this one. So yeah, these guys, I like them a lot. I ran out of 50 mil bases. There's like 5 poses total with these guys. These are mine. These are my personal ones, and then I might try and sell some of them on eBay. Yeah, thanks for watching.